Let's make a fun, super easy recipe to impress all your friends. It has guanciale, pistachio, Parmigiano, cherry tomatoes. It's just gonna be amazing. Hello friends. We're gonna run a little experiment today. We're gonna do a little twist to the most standard pistachio pesto. The recipe as usual is gonna be pretty easy and pretty quick to make. We're gonna have some pistachios. We're gonna have some lovely guanciale. Love this guy so much. Some olive oil. And then I'm going to try to do a little twist with some cherry tomatoes, and we'll experiment together this time. And then we have some lovely Italian pasta, which I'll talk to you about it a little bit later because it's something interesting. So first thing first, we're going to cut the guanciale. I always tell you with the guanciale, it's important that you make it sweat slowly in the pan. So we'll do this first. So today I'm cooking just for me and Eli. So we're going to have 2 slices of guanciale. Okay, Eli's shouting me that she wants 3 slices. So we're going to have 3 slices of guanciale. As you should know by now, we take the skin at the bottom off, and also we take the top off, and all the time that you see that is slightly discolored on the side as part of the curing, we don't want this, it's too strong, so we take those off as well. We can make a cut through the pinky bit so that every piece has a little bit of pinky. And goes without saying, we discussed this before, if you don't have guanciale, which is the cured cheek of the pork, you can definitely use pancetta or bacon. Anything which is fatty and is gonna be able to render the fat into the pan is a good idea. We'll just cut it into little cubes. And as always, these guys go on a cold pan. We need to warm it up really softly with gentle heat, and that will allow all the fat to render into the pan and release. And that fat is what's gonna give us an amount of flavor you have no idea when then we finish cooking the spaghetti in it. So no olive oil, just keep it plain, simple. On the pan, gentle heat, and we let these guys do their thing. And now for the experimental bit, I wanted to make some tomato confit. The thing is that when you make them, you need to put them in the oven and you need to cook them for a very long time. So I'm gonna try to just do that in a pan and see how it turns out, and then we'll decide if to use them or not. The whole process, the concept is that you're trying to release all the sugar content from the tomatoes so that they caramelize. The sweetness is gonna go very well with the flavor of the guanciale and with the pistachio. So my plan here is this. I'm gonna put them all face down, and I'm not gonna turn them. I'm just gonna leave them like this until the bottom is gonna be slightly, I don't wanna say burnt, but it's gonna be, I want it dark. And then we'll give this a shot and see how it tastes. On the stove, very low heat, and we just let these guys do their thing as well. Next step is very important. Before you get distracted and salivating with this wonderful thing we're cooking, make sure you put a big thumbs up to this video. And if you've not done so, subscribe to the channel, guys. We do loads of fun things here, so do it. I'll leave you a second to do it. Okay, now we continue. All the pistachios goes in, and we want to blend them. When we blend them, we want to have different level of coarseness. Close it up and we give it a spin. Some of it has become really powdery, and some of it instead still is quite coarse. And that's lovely because that's going to create amazing texture when we make the pasta. And once it's in the container, we put some high quality extra virgin olive oil. This thing is going to absorb a lot of olive oil. And then you just let the pistachio soak with the olive oil. Now, totally optional. And I don't really like it for this dish. But if you do, by all means, you can just put a little bit of garlic when you go and mix the pistachio so it incorporates into this mixture. But only a little bit, okay? Now, the tomatoes have been here just 3 minutes, and you're beginning to hear a little bit of I want to slightly lower the temperature and add a little bit of olive oil. So I think I'm gonna do it now. Very little, just a little line. And let these guys make friends with the olive oil. I just want them to cook very, very, very slowly and try to release as much as I can that sugar content in a quick way without burning them. Let's see if it works out. With the guanciale nice and crunchy, now we're gonna take it out. We're gonna keep the oils inside. In the meantime, the cherry tomatoes are still sizzling away slowly, delicately. The oil right now is still quite warm, and I'm gonna add the pistachios. I want the pistachio to start absorbing some of the guanciale fats, and also with the heat of the pan, the nuts are gonna release some of their essential oils. So it's a way of getting more flavor out of our pistachios. So we're just gonna let it toast really gently here in the pan. And now let's have a look how our tomatoes are doing. Of course, I don't have any fancy chef equipment, so I'm going to use my daughter's kitchen little thingy. You turn around, and they're getting nice and soft, but I want a little bit of brownness here, so I'm just going to leave it here again. Today for this recipe, we're going to be using pasta Armando, which is a fantastic producer from the areas of Avellino near Naples. And when you're choosing pasta, it's quite important. Look how beautiful this one is. This is spaghetti alla chitarra. That means that they are squared spaghetti, but also see the texture. Armando and also many other producers, they guarantee no pesticide and glyphosate. And that's very important. It seems like it would be a given that in the stuff we eat, there are not any of these chemicals. But the reality is that many lower quality pasta producers cannot guarantee that. And why are there these chemicals? Obviously, the pesticides we all know, we want to kill the little bugs that ruin the grain. And then you've got the glyphosate. The glyphosate, what it does is that it dries up the wheat, which means that the wheat goes to harvest sooner. So it's just a way to save money. Another telltale of high quality pasta is that how long does it take to cook? Usually mainstream pasta will probably cook in 9 minutes, 10 minutes. If you look at this takes 11 to 12 minutes to get cooked. So those are all telltale signs of buying good products. And it's very important because what we eat determines how we live, right? And now, enough for my rambling. Let's check these guys. Okay, they still need a little bit. I've tasted one and it's tasting very sweet, but let's keep cooking them very slowly until the pasta is ready. So by now you know the drill, right? So we got 2-3 minutes to go on the pasta, and this is when we finish it off in the pan. We turn the pan on heating, and taking the water with us, we throw in the pasta. We keep the water next to us because that's full of starch and it's gorgeous, and we're gonna use it to finish cooking this. So we're gonna add a little bit of water, medium to high heat here. And by doing this, we're creating all this creaminess here. This creaminess comes from the fat from the guanciale, comes from the oils of the pistachios, it comes from the starchy water that we're cooking this in. So this is the sound we want from the pasta. And as usual, we don't know if it's cooked unless we taste it. 1 more minute and it's ready. Let's have a look how these guys are faring. We're getting some of the caramelization that we wanted. This pasta is done. Now let's add back some of the guanciale that we took away before. We do one last mix. And it's time to plate it up. And by the way, because Ellie is always right, she says don't call this pesto. We didn't use pestle and mortar. Okay, we didn't. You can use that pestle and mortar and you can call it yourself pesto. So it's time to put this on the plate. In it goes. All right, we'll add some of our pesto non pesto. Some Parmigiano. And now let's see if our idea of having the little tomatoes has worked. I think it has. And I really think the sweetness of this tomato is going to go very well with this. Ellie, what do you think? You like it?
Yes.
Perfect. Now let's add the tomatoes also here. So it looks good, but the question is, does it taste good too? I'll let you know now. Brace yourselves. I love it. Very nice. I'm being surprised. I know it's going to be good, but it's really, really good. So please do try it out. It's going to taste amazing. If you don't have guanciale, use pancetta. And if you don't have anything else, just improvise, as long as you get cooking. Buon appetito.